going to do the vinyl community 2023 list, 20 questions. My first time doing this, I just started my channel about a month ago, I think. So, yeah, I'm excited to be part of this. So, first question is favorite new release of 2022. For me, that goes to Big Thief and Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. This came out early in the year, and I was able to see them on the tour. A great album, super diverse, but it doesn't feel that way. It sustains a mood really nicely. It's probably the rare double album that doesn't seem like it's a chore to get through, or doesn't seem like you need to break it into different chunks of listening. It goes by quickly, and it's just such a good album, and it continues to reward. It's something I'm going to be listening to for quite a while. I got into them really with those two albums that came out before this, and I saw them in 2019, right before the pandemic, and it was just an excellent show in Oakland, California. Last band or solo artist I saw live was the Flaming Lips. Great show. God, I hadn't seen them in a long time, like 15 years, and I think I had this idea in my head that was a video screen, like the Soft Bulletin, a video screen drummer, and Wayne doing his standing in one place kind of thing. No, it was so much fun. I mean, I guess I should know that. I've seen the Bubble Machines and him in a bubble and all that. But seeing that live was just so fun. And I kept thinking, he put a smile on everyone's face. I kept thinking how he has like the best job. He's like playing with toys and rocking out and making everybody feel really good. So yeah, I'm gonna see the Flaming Lips every time they come to town now. First album was the best. Hard to go wrong with Marquee Moon Television. Excellent album. My God, the guitar playing alone on this, but the songs, it's incredible. I love it. It sounds incredible too. On the pressing that I have. Album that starts in, oh no, hat trick. So I'm showing the vinyl, CD, and cassette of an album. So I am of an age where I came of age during the cassettes. Really, I mean, some of my early things I bought were on vinyl, but then it was cassettes. So any band that was really formative to me in my teen years that I continue to like today, like R.E.M's the obvious choice, or Prince a little bit, U2, artists like that. I generally had the tape, and then when I moved onto CDs, I had the CD, and I have it on vinyl now, or I have most of it on vinyl. So yeah, I don't have anything to show because I purged almost all my CDs a few years ago, which I kind of regret, to be honest. But so many of them had been damaged due to a flood that I had in a storage unit, and I thought, you know what, I'll stream stuff and I'll buy things on vinyl, which I'm doing. But yeah, so I don't have many CDs anymore to pull out as references. Album that starts and ends with the same letter. I really like Josh Ritter. I haven't been as impressed with his last few records, but he's always interesting to listen to. I got into him with Hello Starling. Saw him on that tour in the 400 Bar in Minneapolis, having never heard a note on a cold winter day, and it was an incredible show. And he won me over, and I bought that album, and I think everything since. Born the same year as me, that would be Seattle's own Damien Jurado. He's somebody I've been into forever too. I first saw him in the early '90s, probably '94 ish, and I've followed him ever since. There's been times where I've kind of dropped off the radar a little bit with his music, but he came back, put out songs with Richard Swift, which are really interesting, but they're so different from what he did before. But then when he came back and just did things by himself again, recording with a small band, mostly a bass player, the records have been incredible, and there's been a lot of them. But this one, The Horizon Just Laughed, is the one to get. Came out 2018, I think. My vision's kind of bad on the very small type. Album that I listened to more than anything else this year, John Coltrane, Ballads, which was an album I hadn't even heard of probably a year before this year. It's just a great album to put on when you're unwinding, you're having a glass of wine, you're with your special someone. My special someone, my girlfriend, gave this to me early in the year, and yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. It's the kind of jazz I like. I like jazz, and I've gotten really into jazz this year, but I tend to like the jazz that creates a mood, it sustains a mood more than something that will challenge me or be super busy. I'm going to continue to explore jazz, obviously, more and more. The most listened to artist in the year, I have a tie for this one. Leonard Cohen. Listened to an awful lot of Leonard Cohen. Got into this record more, which is something I hadn't really listened to a whole lot before. Definitely an underrated record. New Skin for the Old Ceremony. And I can't not mention Neil Young because I feel like he's my roommate or something. I mean, there's just constant material from Neil. I'm a member of his archives site, and he answers letters weekly. I feel like Uncle Neil was in the other bedroom or something, but there's been a lot of Neil to listen to, and most of it's been really good, especially Toast. And the new album's pretty good too, especially on vinyl. Australian artist band. This guy could fall under most listened to as well. Listened to an awful lot of Nick Cave, and I'm sure everybody's probably showing Nick Cave, but this song's great. It's he did a show with no audience during the pandemic, just him at the piano. There's probably about 24 songs on here. Just an incredible listening experience. Highly recommend that. A great run of 3 albums. Surprise purchase of. I'm not used to reading other people's questions when I'm doing this, but I'll get used to it. Surprise purchase of 2022. Surprising to me because I didn't know this album existed. Stevie Wonder's Fulfillness First Finale. Now, I love Intervisions. It's probably my favorite album by Stevie Wonder, and I can't say that I totally know songs in the Key of Life, but I definitely respect it. I know it pretty well. But I had no idea there was an album in between it. And it's really, really political. I mean, it's not quite at those standards, but it's pretty close. And it's definitely worth checking out. Let's see. An artist you're complete on. This would be, one of them would be Wilco for sure. I've been a fan since being there. I saw them like 2 or 3 times on that tour. Pretty much, I have bought everything since then. Their vinyl pressings, This Is the Ghost Is Born, are just incredible, with the exception of an Ode to Joy. I don't know what happened there. Quality control went right out the window. But I'm hoping that they get back on track with this new record and give us something that's up to the standard of most of their albums. Let's see, what else we got here? We've got a great run of 3 albums. For me, it would be really hard not to mention, I will on this channel a lot, but not to mention R.E.M. I bought these 2 albums, Life Pageant and Document, on the day they came out. I bought them together after I got really turned on to R.E.M. I had known Murmur a little bit. I exchanged tapes with a friend of mine, but I went to the record store and I bought Document and Life Pageant. Became a complete nut for that band, bought everything that came out before it, and saw them live. All this happened within a month, and it changed my life. It changed the way I looked at music. It became a much smaller thing. I was lucky enough to see them before they completely blew up. I think they'd booked the tour. I saw them at a small place, even though the one I love was probably a top 10 hit by then. It was incredible. It was a great show, and they remain one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite band. What else? 80s soundtrack. I used to hate soundtracks because back before streaming, you would have to buy an album to get one song. It used to annoy the hell out of me. So I can't say that I've kept a lot of them that I used to have. The one that top of mind for me was Top Gun. I remember I had that. I don't remember what I bought it for. I don't remember liking the soundtrack at all. I think I got it through a record club. But I started thinking about Prince albums. I think technically he put out 3 soundtracks in the 80s. Purple Rain album, it's all him, but it's still a soundtrack. Batman, which is no Purple Rain, and this album, which I love. This might be one of my favorite, if not my favorite Prince album. It's called Parade. It's also the soundtrack to a movie called Under the Cherry Moon. An artist that we lost, unfortunately, we lost Mark Lanegan. I was really getting into him. I've been into him for a while, but lately, last few years, I'd gotten into him more. I read his book, both of them now. The one that came out right before he died as well. Excellent books, harrowing, absolutely. That Sing Backwards and Weep is just one of the most harrowing books I've ever read about addiction and his life on the streets and the highs and lows of what he did, his career. Highly recommended, but my God, it's dark. This album, this collection is excellent. I'm not usually one for greatest hits collections. This is really nicely put together. He doesn't have any hits, so there's nothing, and it sustains the mood really nicely. I think it's 5 albums. Yeah, 3 albums, 6 sides. But yeah, excellent album. If you can find it, it's a great introduction to him. It's really well put together, and yeah, it's great. Um, Disappointing purchase in 2022. I'm probably gonna ruffle a few feathers with this, but I think it's just where you come from, like where you're coming from with an artist. Sometimes with what you're gonna find disappointing. I was really into Radiohead when they came out. Well, I shouldn't say when they came out. When OK Computer came out, it completely blew me away. I didn't think I was capable of liking a band or an album that much again. Maybe I was feeling really cynical in my mid-20s, but the album's incredible. Kid A's incredible. I don't need to tell anybody about that. They're incredible. They're an incredible band, but I've just been so disappointed in everything that Tom York touches solo. I don't like the blips or the trying to impress people with musicianship and all that. It just drives me crazy. It makes something emotional that resonates with me. Makes something that makes me want to sit down and listen to it and get into it and spin it over and over and over again the way I did those Radiohead records. Maybe I'm just getting old. I kind of did that with Moonshaped Pool though, but I'm not doing that with The Smile. It doesn't help that the records are really crappy pressing either. It's staticky and just I don't know. It got a little bit better after I played it, but some albums got to fall in that category. That does for me. Non-vinyl purchase for me, I think it was last year when I switched from the Ortofon Red to the Blue. It made a huge difference. Got really more detailed. I upgraded my stereo system probably a year and a half ago too. Everything but the turntable. So that was my way of tweaking the turntable, but made a huge difference. I found a Grail. I bought this. I was talking about Revolver, the big box set that's coming out with Mazzy, who is a friend of mine and also needs no introduction to the vinyl community. And I was saying how I didn't want to buy it. The only thing that I was really interested in was the mono copy of Revolver, and he was nice enough to give me a really good price on a mono copy of Revolver. So I know now you can. It's part of the package and probably doesn't have as much value as it did 2 months ago, but it's very valuable to me. It's really nice to have that record. Let's see what else we got here. Space themed song or sleeve. I don't think this comes to mind for most people, Patti Smith, but I was listening to this record recently, and there's a song on here, Birdland, that just it just blew me away. I hadn't listened to this record in a long time. Definitely hadn't listened to it really intensively, where I'm sitting down between 2 speakers with the lyrics or looking them up or whatever, and just really getting into the record. And that song, just about this little boy that loses his father, and there's a spaceship involved and aliens, and it works. It sounds way better when you hear the song than it does me talking about it. But that came to mind for me. Show some present. I think I could. Let's count Revolver as that. I feel like that was a really sweet offer from Mazzy to pick that up. And then an album that came out in 1973, 50 years ago. For me, it is Billion Dollar Babies, Alice Cooper. I will not pass up an opportunity to talk about Alice Cooper. Even though everybody knows who he is, he's a household name, I still think he's underrated. I still think these classic records belong up there in the same arguments, same discussions as David Bowie records, whatever. There's an artistic element to it that is just so clever. The songwriting, the themes, and I like thinking that I'm a $billion baby too. I was born like a year before this came out, so that could have been me on the cover. My parents had connections with Hollywood and Alice Cooper. They didn't. Anyway, thanks everyone. Happy New Year. It's fun to be part of this, and I look forward to doing more things like this.